Hello guys, welcome everyone for another VOD. Today we're gonna be talking about Prohorovka map and how to play it in water tanks. So let's start with light tanks, since Proc is one of these maps that actually light tanks, depending most of the time, I would say like 75% of the time, if your light tanks, mess up, then you kinda screwed. So let's start with light tanks. If you are playing EBR on this map, specifically EBR. Now the EBR is from this side or the other side. Let's talk about this side. You have two options to play EBR, or three options. The first is going in middle spot, make a run. That's pretty popular. The second is going in straight to 1-2 line, counter enemy light tank and outspot them before they get into the pushes. Let's say T100 Manticore or something like that. It is possible, but most of the time you're not going to be able to do that. But yeah, that's another try in EBR. Then the third play is going in like this and spotting from here. Now this is something I would say unusual to do most of the time, but mainly going the hell with the EBR will be the best thing to do to spot everything. But yeah, this is the three ways to do it. From the other side is the same thing, going in middle with EBR, or going in straight 2 line to counter an enemy light tank and make sure he doesn't get in a position or pushes. And the third thing is going up the hill too, the same way. That's a little EBR for you. Let's say you're playing a Manticore or playing T100 or AMX 1319. I mean specifically, let's say T100 or Manticore. These kind of light tanks where you need to get in passive pushes. You have to do this. You cannot do the middle runs or spotting anything like that. You have to go straight to the 1 line. 1-2 line is the main thing on this map. Like 1-2 line is pretty much this, how to say it, the key of this map. If you're going with a Manticore or T100, you need to start it and going into the pushes, passive pushes. And I would say from this side, if you're going down like H1 pushes here, there's a tree behind the red line. You can knock a tree down with the HE and use these pushes as a light tank. And you're gonna outspot the EBR or whatever light tank in enemy team. Now, do you need to be up here? I mean, this is very good spot to take, but again, you can go to the pushes, passive pushes, and wait. Pushes that nobody expects you, let's say. And your goal is to make enemy light tank dies first. Then later you can move forward and do whatever you want to do on the 1-2 line to spot everybody else. Alright? I've seen many people take E1 right away, but you shouldn't do that. You should just come with the pushes first, then later see what happens. You need to take down enemy light tank first. Like, that's if you're playing Manticore to 100. Mainly 1-2 line. Do not play anywhere else. Do not go and make runs in the middle, please. A lot of mistakes I see from light tanks do that. Do not do that. 1-2 line is your goal, no matter what on this map. Same thing from the other side. If you're playing Manticore to 100, you go in and drive in the pushes, passive pushes, outspot the enemy EBR, let's say, if there is any, and just get him killed. Or you can go all the way up here to pushes like here. Nobody expected, and I would say maybe to the best thing to do. Now again, do you want to drive all the way up to E1? That's pretty optional. That's aggressive spot. But if you take it with a Manticore or T100 before even enemy EBR comes in and get here, you'll be already in good spot at E1. Again, the passive pushes here, the aggressive pushes E1. Same one here. Passive pushes here, aggressive is H1. From this side, H1. You don't want to go E1 from this side. Only from base 1 you go E1 if possible, because most of the time you get there faster at E1 than this side. However, that's the light tanks for you. How do you play it as a heavies or medium tanks or tank destroyers? Tank destroyers usually gonna be sitting all 1-2 line, pretty much, or all in the back at K6. That's what tank destroyers positions mainly, and all depends on your light tank gonna spot for you. So that's how you do with tank destroyers or any tanks that has no armor, like Leo 1 or things like that. But what do you do if you're playing heavies? Heavies like mobility or super heavies. Super heavies I mean, you can play middle with them too, and you can play middle mainly on this map with anything else, like medium tanks or heavies in general, like mobility or not mobility. You play middle here, and from here you can counter and shoot C1, and also you can counter middle here, and from here also you can shoot the hill. But you need to be careful from this area here. If you play here, you need to be careful from the hill all the time, because as soon as you get spotted here, you can receive shots from the hill here. So be careful when you use this position here. And the middle play is really like a little bit complicated when it comes to, how to say it, 3RT matchmaking. If there's a 3RTs, then that's unfortunate for you, but if you are playing super heavy and there's a 3RT, I would say 1-2 line will be just a campy play for you. But yeah, we don't do that, right? We play middle all the time still. However, same thing from the other side. You play tank destroyers A6, a 2 line or 1-2 line, with anything that doesn't have armor. You just snipe from here and here, right? Now, heavy is the same way. You play middle, and again, you play here is the best spot here, and to shoot this stuff here at H1 from the middle here. You need to be careful too, because you can get shot from here into this. Just like playing here, you get shot from the hill, and you get shot also from C1. So yeah, you play middle from this side, and you play middle from this side. Now, what about if I want to play the hill? I don't recommend playing the hill on this map. I would say, like, it really depends on what you're doing or what you're playing. If, let's say, you're playing IS-7 or something like that, you're going initial position on the hill, you're not going to do anything. You're just going to sit here and just spot people here, and you try to shoot tanks here, right? That's all. But if you're playing from this side, going up the hill might be something different from the other side, because it's gonna be like more useless probably playing here as an initial. So I will not recommend playing the hill at all. I will recommend playing the hill only with tanks like, let's say, IS-7, or let your light tank play it and spot stuff. I will recommend playing middle, and if somebody will go on the hill, just let them do it, you know. If they do it, if they let them do it, don't do it yourself. The thing is, like, it's going to be important to take this area to keep spotting the hill. Why I'm saying this? Because hill is another key of this map. We said 1-2 line is the main key, but the hill is another key. If you don't have hill control here, you cannot play middle here. So yeah, do you have to do it yourself though? I'm not saying do it yourself going up with E100 here. No, it depends on what you're playing. If you're playing a tank that has ability to do it from this side. But from the other side, it's complicated going up the hill. You can still do it, but complicated. Anyway, 3RT matchmaking. What should I do? Should I play middle? It's very risky to play middle. Now, I'm gonna tell you one trick about 3RT and how to do it from both sides. If you're playing mobility heavy tank, there's a pushes right here. You can use. There's a pushes here from this side, and there's a pushes here from this side. If you see my pink right here with the blue, this pushes here as an initial position. You get in here with a heavy tank, let's say mobility, and this side here too. You take it as initial position when there's 3RT. From here you can counter and shoot the enemy light tank who's running in the middle, and same here. From here you can counter enemy light tank who's running in the middle. From both sides, this position and this position. After that, you can put the shot, then you're gonna get spotted. You're gonna need to go down and fall back and come back again to the same spot. That's the only way to do it, as to prevent RT shots on you, right? And later, it's gonna be passive play if you want to play like this when there's 3RT. Other than that, you get just gonna camp 1-2 line, I would say, from the beginning, and camp 1-2 line here from the beginning too. But yeah, this is how I play when there's 3RT. If I'm playing something with mobility, I come to this spot, and I come to this spot from the other side too. Counter enemy light tanks in the middle. As soon as you get killed, nobody can be able to spot you from here. Then later you can go down maybe here and start shooting the hill and things like that. But yeah, this is just my tips about proc. But please, as a light tank, do not really mess up a lot on this map, because as I said, you need to play the way I said it. Light tanks, 1-2 line is your target. Anyway, we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna show you an example about one of the matches I had. Hopefully we don't take that long, but yeah, let me give you an example of proc. So we got a proc here. We're playing an AMX on 4. We have an EBR here and an EBR here. It's pretty much light tank versus light tank. Your EBR making the right play in the beginning, going to 1-2 line to counter enemy EBR. But he's going way too deep. He's going like E1, and this is something like I would say. I mean, it's aggressive push to take is nice, but if most of the times doesn't work and it's get blind shotted. But as eventually our light tank just did manage to get there. And this is how you play. You play the middle here. I usually do it most of the time. I play middle most of the time. See, from here you get shot from H1, as I mentioned. Remember, when you play middle you get shot from H1, so you need to be careful when you do that. Same way from the other side, the Kron, enemy Kron can get shot from C1 from your side. Your team took the hill with few tanks, but yeah, phases might not work out for them, but yeah, eventually you need to have some tanks on the hill too, right? Now focus on the light tanks. Now this is literally just playing middle on proc, and there's only one RT. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit so we don't waste time. From here, when your light tank will spot 1-2 line, from here you can start farming damage, right? Pretty much. And again, you need to be careful from H1, because that's also where I say tank destroyers or like tanks, medium tanks with no armor can play there all the time and snipe, such as 50B for example. Your light tank in a good spot. Your light tank in a good spot. And this is the main thing. Now one thing is not bad out. One thing is not really great here and bad is 1-2 line. You have nobody on 1-2 line from your team. And your light tank sitting spotting for nobody. But he's spotting for the middle. So, which is these heavies here. Just see, enemy light tanks try to go and clear 1-2 line to find out about our light tank, and eventually our light tank gets spotted somehow. He shouldn't be spotted, but he did, and he got lucky he didn't die. So pretty much light tanks always 1-2 line. You see my point? 1-2 line always. And when you play middle, you can start farming on whatever light tank spotting for you. If your light tank dies, you are in trouble on this map. This is something I want to tell you. If your light tank dies, you are in trouble. Enemy light tank down, we kind of fine right now. Our light tank's still alive, and that's what's most important thing. But yeah, our light tank a little bit kinda clueless about what's going on. As you see, our light tank went straight to A0, which is something should never happen. When the enemy light tank is dead already, he has full access to go 1-2 line and spot everything. So yeah, again, from here, this light tank from A0 should just playing 1-2 line now and clearing out 1-2 line slowly, because nobody else can spot him. However, I hope so this was a good idea for you guys to have an idea about proc and how to play it in general. Overall, this battle I'm just gonna speed it up so we don't waste time. Mainly playing middle all the time, and later depends on what's gonna happen on the map. Your rotation will be either running back to 1-2 line, and which is not gonna be easy, or just staying middle and fighting until death. Now here, I want you to know, when you come here, you can have shots on the hill pretty much from the 6th line where I'm playing right here. All the time. If you want to shoot the hill only, you can come in here. Other than that, you'll be playing middle all the time. So yeah. Also, you guys, this is going to be helpful for you to understand how to play proc. Other than that, if you'd like to watch more like this, please just drop a subscribe and follow on our Twitch channel. And if you would like to see more gameplays using exactly the position we mentioned, feel free to follow us on Twitch and watch us live streaming. Thanks a lot, and I appreciate every single moment, and I'll see you guys next part. Take care and have a good one.